everyone. Happy Friday, happy weekend. Tonight we will be making a mulled wine. It's a beautiful thing to serve when you have company because your whole house will just smell like the season. There's a lot of different ways, of course, to make it, but the first thing you have to start with is a good bottle of red wine, a cab or zin. I'm using a zin. This one is old vine. We've had it before, we like it, so I recommend using something that you like to drink. Because if you don't like the taste of it, don't just go for cheap because you're adding a bunch of stuff to it. Get a decent bottle, something even around, $10 or $12, and you'll be more than happy. Okay, so this mulled wine, it's a combination of 3 great recipes that I love. Of course, when I first got married, I was in Williams-Sonoma and bought a can of their mulling spices, or I was gifted it. I don't remember which one, but I loved making it. We only made it once a season, but it was like we felt grown up because we were having a fancy drink instead of Lancers out of a bottle with a cork, a little cork, fake cork top. So I like the Williams-Sonoma, but that's already made for you. So this one I take from their recipe because I liked that they used cloves and nutmeg. And then I loved the Martha Stewart recipe years ago, but she uses cardamom, and I had sensitivity testing done, and I'm actually highly sensitive to cardamom. So I stopped making that recipe, and it also calls for whole allspice, which is nice, but I use allspice in other recipes, and I'm not fond of it, so I took some certain things from her, her recipe as well, and she also uses brandy in her, which I feel like it makes it more of a sangria, but that's okay. To each their own, but I like to pull different flavors. She uses the Star Anise, which I love, okay? So I borrowed that from that one, and then of course Ina Garden makes a great one, and she uses, for 1 bottle of wine, she uses 4 cups of apple cider. I think that's too much, or else it's gonna taste like Thanksgiving. So I pulled that from hers, and also I think she uses honey instead of sugar. I'm gonna go with just the sugar. I liked the sugar better. So why don't we get started? First we're gonna just pour this. One thing, you do not wanna use an aluminum pan, aluminum pot. So use something that's non-aluminum. And I already got it started heating because I wasn't sure how long this pot would take to heat up. And I don't have that much time with you tonight, so I didn't want it to take 10 minutes to boil and then 10 minutes to simmer. So I've got it heated already, and you pour 1 whole bottle of nice dry red wine. You can use a fruity wine, but mulled wine is supposed to just be like a gorgeous cab or zin in a glass. It just has some extra flavors in it to make it more wintry, more seasonal, a beautiful seasonal sip, if you will. All right, now here's the three or 4 choices you have. We're going to take cloves and nutmeg, and you can either make a little cheesecloth. So you're gonna make a packet and tie it with string. So this way you can remove it from the pan because you don't want cloves falling around in your glass later on. Or one thing I've used throughout the year is my Tea-infuser. Simply just put your stuff in that, put it in, fish it out, and you're done. But it is aluminum, so it could give a slight taste to the wine. So if I was ready and I had a wooden spoon, I would hang it in there like that. So I'm not going to use that today. And another great thing, if you are a cold brew gal, these cold brew coffee bags, I love them. They're really easy, and I think I'm going to try that tonight. I'm going to put the stuff in there. See that? And it's like having a giant tea bag. You just close it up. All right, so let's get started. 5 cloves. Whole cloves, sorry, nothing is ground here. All right, so we'll take 5 cloves out. It's not going to kill you if you have more or less. More is probably fine. That's what makes it smell like the holidays. I'm going to put my glass that we're drinking out of. I'm gonna put it there so I have something to work with. Now, you're gonna take a whole nutmeg, and you know how spices are so expensive and you're scared to get them if you're only gonna use them once? 3 whole nutmegs were only 79 cents today at ShopRite. So roll it up in cheesecloth or a paper towel, and then you're gonna hammer it. All right, if you don't have a mallet, grab a hammer. If you don't have that, wear a kitchen mitt and take the end of a knife and bang it with the hammer. I mean, bang it with the handle. You see that? Hi, Kay, how are you? Long week, I'm sure you're happy it's Friday. Not easy being a teacher nowadays. All right, and the other thing is a Star Anise. You can add 1 or 2. I'm gonna just try 1 this time and see if I like it. That's a pretty big one. If it's broke in the bag, then add 2. All right, then you could add your cinnamon stick now. I'm just gonna let the cinnamon stick float around in there. All right, so that's all we do. Knot it, tie it. Again, you can totally use cheesecloth and a piece of string. All right, so let's plop that in our wine. And talking about the wine really quick before it starts to cook, you are going to bring it, for Ina Garden's recipe, she brings it to a boil because it's got the 2 cups of apple cider in it. Actually 4 cups, I'm using 2. So that's 1 cup, 2 cups. She brings it to a boil to reduce some of that sugar from the apple cider. If you were going some apple cider, which you totally can, you would just let it simmer till where it steams. And then once it steams, you would just lower the heat and let it simmer for 10 minutes to 30 minutes. If you were doing this in a crock pot, which you totally can, all you do is set it to 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours to low, and when your company comes or when you're ready to sit down, just pour yourself a glass and you're done. So it really is an easy cocktail drink to have with company because all the prep work's done beforehand. All right, even on the pot, just once it simmers, 10 minutes, take it off the heat, and maybe 10 minutes before the company comes, just turn the heat back up, get it nice and warm, and ladle it. All right, so we've got 5 cloves, 1 nutmeg that was cracked, and you tie that up in the cheesecloth. I added my Star Anise to the cheesecloth because I don't want to fish it out. And now let's add 1 sesame, 1 or 2. I'm gonna add 2. What the hey? I'm not gonna put them in the glasses. I don't really, I know people like to put them in the glass to make it look wintry as a garnish, but I just think it gets in the way when you drink. So I'm just gonna put it right in the pot and let it cook with the rest of it. All right, now you can either, this is like a zester tool where you'll just get the strips of the orange, but I'm seriously not that good at it. I mean, you could say, it's fine. I think it's just easier to take the orange and take the peels because it'll also be easier to fish it out because nobody wants peels stuck in between their teeth. All right, so the peel of an orange, plop, boom. Now, this is, you can do it or you don't have to do it. You can add the juice, I'm sorry, not the juice, you can add the peel of 1 lemon. I just happened to have lemon and it was in one of the recipes, so I thought I would just put a couple in. I'll do half a lemon peel. All right, and then the other thing we need is orange juice. So I'm gonna take this orange that I used for my, now, I don't think anybody would know or care if you used the juice from a carton. Of course, it's nicer to have fresh everything, but right now with COVID and not wanting to go to the stores all the time, I know I went today, I haven't been since basically Thanksgiving. So, let me get this, sorry, I'm babbling now. I haven't been to the store in a bit. So I did have orange juice because I needed it for one of my Thanksgiving sangrias. So I could have used the orange juice, but since I have the orange for the peel, for our sangria, for our mulled wine. I'm gonna use a cup of that. Sorry, half a cup. All right, so the zest of an orange, the strips of an orange and a lemon, and then the 2 cinnamon sticks, and that's it. You just bring it, you can see it's steaming, but because we added the apple cider, I'm gonna bring it to a boil, and then I'm gonna let it simmer. All right, to talk about a decanter, if you have a beautiful decanter that can handle heat, use it for this recipe. And these are cups. If not, you're not serving this. It's not going to be boiling. It's going to have simmered already. You can use a very thick, sturdy glass. You can use a mason jar. If you're not sure if you're, test it before you have company, of course. Put a spoon in when you're pouring, and it should be okay. And then you could take the spoon out when it's cooled a tiny bit. The other thing I want to say is, this is a great hostess gift. You can take, like I said, I got these for small fee on Amazon. You can take this, you can add your cloves, you can add your cinnamon sticks, you can add your Star Anise, and I would add a whole nutmeg. I wouldn't crack it before I put it in here. You could tie it on, and then you can just write the recipe on the back to add the orange juice and or the apple cider and the sugar if you like. Oh, I did forget the sugar. There I go. Mixed up Maven, forgot to add the sugar. Okay, that's a 1/4 cup of sugar. Sorry. But don't forget, we did have the apple cider in there, which has sugar, so it's not the biggest thing if you didn't want to add extra sugar. Oh, it smells delicious. I wish you guys could smell this. It's fabulous. All right. So we talked about the gift. You can get these labels at a Michael's, or I think I got them on Amazon last year. You write it out, you bring it to your hostess with, or you can give it as a Christmas gift and write down what goes in it and how long to cook it for. I know other people also actually put a dried, they dry out the oranges in the oven and they add that, and you can add the dried oranges, slices, to your mulled wine. Okay, it is boiling. We're gonna go down to a simmer. And I think that's it. I think we got it all. We're having a nice wine night here. I've already got meatballs and pastas ready to be cooking. And we're gonna sit down and have a nice warm holiday dinner early. Just to go over it, either use a Sauvignon, Cabernet, sorry, or a Zin, a dry wine. If you want fruity, then less sugar and less juices. Not an aluminum pot. Bring to boil only if you're using the apple cider. Don't bring to boil if you're not using the apple cider. You literally just want to simmer it for 10 to 30 minutes and you're done. It will keep in the fridge. I believe it'll keep up to a week. So it's great even if you're just plotting away for Christmas or Hanukkah and you start on a Monday, you'll have it ready for Saturday. But you can see it's really a quick recipe. And let's see if I can bring it over and put it on here so you guys can see it. And then we'll ladle it. Now I'm gonna have it just for a sip. Oh, yum, yum, yum. Okay, so last year when I made this, I didn't do the apple cider. I have to tell you, it smells just amazing. Really, all right. So if you don't mind, I'm gonna put that back on and I'm gonna let that simmer another 15 minutes. But for serving purposes, I'm gonna put a nice orange slice on there. I always like to garnish no matter what. So, oh my God, okay. I'm gonna type up this recipe and put it on the page, and I would use it just as is. It is perfect. It's not overwhelming. It doesn't have that, it's not heavy clove. It doesn't have the allspice or the cardamom to give it that other flavor. It's lightly fruity, but not like a sangria. I promise you, you will like it. So thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget, I'm also on Instagram under the Mixed Upologist, and from my Mixed Upologist Facebook page, which is different from the group. The page allows you to link onto my YouTube, if you want to sign up for that, if you're getting off Facebook, as I know some people are. So look at that, gorgeous. All right, so happy holidays, happy weekend, and don't mull over whether you should make this already or not. Just make some mulled wine, sit by the TV, and watch a nice Christmas show. Take care, guys.